Okay, next thing I'm going to show you is how to print your rubrics that you'll need for your events. So first thing I got to just remind you of, whatever is set up in the event setup for specific things is going to be what rubrics you actually have available. So if I show you one of these events, BMOR, and I go to edit, and I come into here, whatever I've specified for the rubrics is what's going to print. So you need to make sure that that's accurate, otherwise the printing rubrics feature isn't going to work the way that you expect. If any of those things are wrong, you need to let me know, because we can look on the back end and make sure that the correct report is actually updated into your site. So I'm going to come into conference, go to conference reports, before scoring reports, and then drag down to print rubrics. So depending upon what you choose in here is going to generate how long it takes to run the report. So I'll leave that up to you, but if you choose it by a specific event type and then choose a specific event that you want to do, or you can do all events, it will generate the report based on those parameters. So this particular event doesn't have role plays, it has written and oral, so I'm going to check those two boxes. I'm going to not print the school on there. And here are your options for sorting. You can do event and participant, event and the student's name, or if you have multiple sections, you can go ahead and choose that. It's not going to say on there which judge it is, but it will put them in order by the way that they were scheduled. So I'll go ahead and choose event section and name and click print for this particular category. It's going to come in here and generate a PDF for you, and it's going to put them in order by section. So this team of 3, there's their ID, it's 1033 BMOR, and the first set of rubrics here is for the 40 points for the presentation. And then as you drag down, it puts them all in order and puts their name directly on there. There is an opportunity for the judge to put a signature on there as well, which I would encourage them to do, in case you have to follow up with them moving forward. And then as you drag down, once I get through the original 40 points here, it's going to have the rubrics for the 60 points, I promise. So here it is. So here's the written event. So the first 3 kids here that were originally page 1 of 22, it's there. So there's 60 for them, 60 for them. So then they have the rubrics for the paper as well as the actual presentation. Then on the bottom, the judge can compile all of the scores and go ahead and give a final score based on how the event is set up. So that's really slick, and it will keep everything in order and keep it so much easier. I always refer to how it simplifies things for the tab center, but that's my point of view on this in terms of the most time-consuming thing is when they did transpose numbers or they put the wrong name on the rubric, and then you get in the tab center and you're trying to figure out what the heck is what. I also want to show you the team events because, again, from the standpoint of tab center, when you compile 2 different kids from a town and we used to have the 20 dash whatever numbers, it was pretty tedious to figure out who was who, especially with siblings, and absolutely crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and choose team decision making events, and I'll go ahead and set the parameters for the role play because this is a 1 role play event. I'm going to go ahead and choose the participant ID right here. And I'll just choose one of them so that the report takes a quicker amount of time to generate. And this particular one is set up in color the way that they put it into the system. Again, you can download it if you choose. You can print it straight out from here. It's entirely up to you. But all of the different performance indicators, the actual rubric is there. Now, again, like I said earlier, if any of this looks wrong, please let me know so that we can fix it on the other end. But everything should match up to the role plays that you will be getting from Donna McFadden for your conference. So up in here, it tells you the participant, their names, and then each team has their own unique ID based on the category. So the first part of it is the category acronym and then the number team that they are. So that's pretty slick. And you can go ahead and print these out pretty easily. So I'm going to go into a different district because, again, my district hasn't finish testing and so forth. So I'm going to use one that has already been completed here, and I won't mess with it, I promise, Krista. So I'm going to come into here, go to before scoring reports. And at this point, I'm going to show you the sign-in sheets. These are pretty awesome so that you can give them to your runners, you can give them to the people that are sitting at the desk that are checking in and checking out. You can even print a cover sheet for your judges if you wanted to, so that they can see all the different teams or students that they'll be seeing on a cover sheet. So I'll go ahead and choose just one event here for you. I'm going to say that there's no blank time. I'm not going to choose to print the school name. Now, again, this is by district. I know at nationals, they truly don't care if you're from Massachusetts or Arizona. They're going to put your state on there, but that's up to you guys as a district. I'm going to just leave that alone. And you can sort by the section and the time, or the time and the section. So essentially, section, again, means judge. So if I'm going to go by judge and time, it's going to do all judge A's together in order, all judge B's together in order, and so forth. So I'll go ahead and click that. And I can even do a section page break. So if I have more than one judge, I'll have two different sheets for it. Mess around with these and see what works for you. I'll run the report. And then you've got the 3 people that are in this category. They're in District 4. Here are their identification numbers, and there's the time that they've been scheduled to show up. Okay, now if I wanted to come in here and mess around with some of these to show you, this I've never used, so I'm not even going to demonstrate it. I don't have alternates, or we don't have kids that go in multiple categories, so that's a non-issue. But I can change it to a check-in, check-out sheet if I wanted to by checking this button. And then when I come in, it'll give me a check-in and check-out category. So runners that have done this for years, that's what they like to do. They like to write exactly when they sat down, exactly when they check out, and so forth, to keep everything kosher and pay attention to what's going on and be able to report to whoever's running the event where they stand and so forth. So again, that one was by checking off this little button here. If I don't check that off, it's just going to be the customary signature one, which it depends on what you want to do. I like the check-in, check-out from when I used to be a runner back in the day, because then I can have a sheet that I can fill in and keep my own and pay attention to what's going on in my category a little bit more closely. I just wanted to go into a category that has more than one judge to show you how this works. So STDM on this one actually has 2 judges. So when I come in to print the rubrics and I go to team decision-making events and I choose sports and entertainment, I'm going to go ahead and click the first role play. I'm going to do event section and click print. It'll generate a PDF. Tells you straight out that there's 19 different teams on there, and it doesn't tell you that which judge is which. I'll be honest. If you did choose that you need to include the school name, it will put it here. I'm going to actually turn that off. But it will put it in order by how they were scheduled. So this is the first team. They're going first with Judge 1, Judge 2, Judge 3. So unfortunately, you cannot see that it's Judge A or Judge B, but you do have those rubrics that you can look at for your sign-in sheets that'll keep everything honest. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Conference reports, sign-in sheets, and then I'll go ahead and choose sports and entertainment marketing team event. I'm going to go ahead and choose this one. I'm not going to print the school name. I'm going to sort them by section and time. I'm going to do a page break by section so I can show you how that works. So the first team is there, second team is there, and so on. You'll notice that these start at 8 o'clock and run until 11:35. And then the second judge starts with this team. They're in section 2, and that runs from 8:50 until 11:05. It does put both of the team names on there so that you have it, but notice in here on your student ID or your participant ID, the ID for each student is individual, but the team ID is consistent. So the first team is 1121, second team is 1123, and so on. Now, the last thing I just want to go over with this is pretty obvious to me, but I just want to make sure that it's clear to you guys. This is going to just report what is scheduled. So if there are problems with scheduling, you need to check that in the event setup. If there are problems with the rubrics that you have, you also have to check that in the event setup. So if it's printing the wrong rubric, there's a good chance when you come into this setup, you've asked it to print the wrong rubric, okay? Please double check all of that before you freak out, because it's a pretty simple fix. And obviously, please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks so much.